vote for what we call a local community oversight committee, elected by the people, individuals from that community, who will sit as a board over every police station to oversight its operations. They can go into the cell, inspect why are these committee members, why are these inmates being held here for more than 24 hours, not taken to court? Why is this inmate injured, not been taken to hospital? And where did he get his injuries? Is it in the cells or outside? Why are these not been admitted to cash bail? Yet the offense is a bailable offense. So they note it down. Why are this one, you are sent out to go and attend to demonstrations? Who was given firearms? Why did you fire ammunition, your firearm? Or what were the circumstances? Did it lead to any fatality? Where's the incident report? Which officer in particular is responsible? That should be the work of the Civilian Oversight Committee for every police station in this country.
But Willis, are these people going to earn salaries?
No. Look at school boards. Look at school boards. Because look at, we fashioned it in the context of school boards, boards of governors, where every school in Kenya, education is a service. And in every educational institution in this country, there's a board of management. If you want the police to function, how can you say police is a service and they don't have a board of management that oversees what they're doing? Just in similar fashion that the boards of governors for schools, and schools are more than police stations. I've delivered. We're not saying these are employees. These are volunteers from the community who are elected by the people, chosen by the people, to go and oversight how police administration is conducted in their precinct. But ultimately, we're also saying this, that as Safina, every OCPD, the sub-county commander, we will turn that position to become a sheriff and elected by the people directly. So that you will not be telling us that I'm getting orders from above. Your above is going to be the people who are voting for you. You are accountable to those people. That's the commander, the sheriff. The officers are still under the National Police Service Commission, appointed in the usual manner. The IG still remains. But the sheriff, the one who we know as OCPD, is elected by the people.
Willis, is it going to, I hear you, because I've seen that system work in other countries.
Yes.
That have had differences, but you look at where we are as a country, and I really want to hear this from you. You can have a very, very good structure, a very good policy, but then when you're taking it to the people, my concern is, as we've seen it in the past, especially when it comes to even police recruitments, and these are appointments. So you'll, for example, you're the senior person at the head. So people within a community will look at you from the point of tribe, like, wewe ni Mluya, ama ni Mjaluo. Okay, your assistant then can also be, if you're Luo, your assistant can't be a Luo, your assistant has to be a Kikuyu. Then there's a question of who are the majority around here. We still have those kind of issues. Number two, because I want to understand how can this structure work in such a toxic tribal environment that we're in currently. Two is, if you have people who are salaried, and we've seen this very many times, where, for example, somebody will call for a meeting, and we've seen this with those CPDs. These guys have money. These police bosses have money. So how will you stop corruption from going to those levels where these people basically are working as volunteers? They're not getting paid. But then you have an OCPD here who gets paid and has other monies elsewhere, who will then try to influence outcomes and influence a way of doing things, because we've had that culture. And I'm drawing this from this conversation around these legacy politicians and how they also manage. They could be lying, and they are lying, but they still manage to get crowds. And when you try to analyze, you look at these crowds, you'll see it's school buses that are ferrying these people to these venues. You'll see these mamambogas being paid 200, 500, 1,000. And you'll see a lot of these crowds in these political meetings. They clearly don't believe what this person is saying, but they're there spending a whole afternoon because they were given 500 shillings. How do we get this culture from our mindsets to a place where, if you have that kind of structure working against impunity, bad leadership, governance, and fight corruption, have the system work, but people are also willing to make the systems work?
You know, First and foremost, we have over 3,000 police stations across the country. If you want to eat an elephant, you break it down into pieces. You can't swallow it. So this system will easily work first and foremost when you say we are doing it at the localist level, police station. So look at the units, even the numbers, households served by a police station. You've broken it down and you're telling people to vote for their security. You know, when you are voting for your local oversight committee, it's your security.
Yep.
It's not about a promise that I'll bring for you development. I'll bring for you roads. This one is, I'm going to protect your home. You are taking responsibility for the security in your home. How many Kenyans are going to compromise their own safety by saying, at the promise of money, I'm willing to be attacked at my home, to allow marauding thugs to run my security? Very few. And because you've broken it down to so many polling stations, units, it's over 3,000 police stations. The numbers are manageable. It is not a mass, like you're saying. You can carry neighboring villages to come and overwhelm a particular locality. Today in Nairobi, you can easily see politicians. Somebody has a gathering in Embakasi, you can easily go to Kibra and to Madare and pick a crowd and take there. In this particular instance, we are simply saying, Madare must choose their own OCPD. The police stations inside Madare, not OCPD, must choose their own local oversight committee. They know all those people. They are responsible for oversight of police station. It comes to police, OCPD, the sheriff, we know the police divisions. We are going to choose someone who is going to protect us. It's different. Because in this particular instance, you are asking someone that's going to protect you. Not like before, where you are voting someone on a promise that he will bring for you development, which is undefined. You are simply saying, I don't want to see my house broken into. So there will be a higher responsibility, a higher calling. But what's the worst case scenario? The worst case scenario is this. Some may not work, but majority will work. And we learn from it. And you lose nothing by trying something new. Because the ones that we have, we know what we have. We know what we have. What we have is police can now come here and pick me, or pick you, God forbid, and take you to Central Police Station, and we are not sure if you will come out alive. Just like Herbert Ojwang. That is what we know. At least we are sure they are capable of doing that. Now, we should not fear the potential of something revolutionary that changes how they work. And I recognize there may be risks and some challenges, teething challenges. But I always say the safest ship is the one at the harbor. But that is not why ships were built. You'll only enjoy this or feel it when you go out there and try these ideas. We test it. Give the people an opportunity to reconstruct their policing. But if we hold back to the comfort, that no, we don't want to try, the police will keep coming and picking you like sitting ducks.
Do you believe the same should apply then to top leadership? Let's say, for example, the presidency. So say, okay, we're giving you a contract. Whether this means changing the constitution. So we're giving you a contract and it's renewable every 1 year, not 5 years. So if we're not happy with what you're doing, because we always have the conversation of the first 100 days. We always have this number. So first 100 days. So let's just stretch it out and say, okay, we're giving you 1 year. If we are not satisfied by what you're doing, then we have a clause that then recalls you.
In fact, you know what we are heading towards, if you ask me.
Yes.
It's about accountability, getting people to be involved in their governance, because the resources that are being expended are their resources. Progressively, once we get to that stage, that can even be rotation, even a yearly leadership. Switzerland, for example, is one of the richest countries per capita. In terms of per capita for the citizens. They don't have a sitting president. They have a 1 year presidency. They've reached that level where everything is by almost referendum. They've designed the systems. So yes.
Even building a road.
People will have to vote.
Yep.
So we may at some point get there. But we are where we are now. We start with these ones. Once these OCPDs, the sheriffs work well, the local communities work well, then we go to the political leadership. You can even say even MPs. Who said you must all meet in parliament? No, MPs, legislative issues should be discussed at a local community level. So convene yourself a local community and the national proposes a legislation, we all sit as a committee, design a tool that can give us all an opportunity to vote. Is it phones? Now we have modern technology. Or are we creating for every individual a unique identifier that enables him to cast his vote on any issue? You get?
Yeah.
So we must progress the conversation, because the ultimate goal is to make sure that the voice of the citizen is the determinant voice in his governance.
A lot of these things are wrapped around resources, and it's an economy. I mean, for goodness sake, the last election was an economic one, was one that was based on the economy, in terms of what was going to happen and put money into the hands of people. I want to ask a question about resources and their sufficiency. I'm not even talking about the efficient use of resources. I'm asking about, are the resources that Kenya has today sufficient enough to run government? Everything that we see as a problem, the bottom line is money. Look at your health system. Well, we don't have enough money. Look at your education system. My God, we didn't send enough capitation. The term is ending now. The year is over, and we still are out about 4,000 shillings on capitation, about 4,000 to 5,000 shillings on capitation. And I can bet you my bottom dollar that 5,000 shillings per student is not going to be sent. It's not going to be sent. True. That's done. When we look at other issues, infrastructure, road infrastructure, we're told, well, there's just not enough money. The governor of Nairobi just the other day said, well, there's some roads that we need to work on, but, we're waiting for money. We look at so many things that need to be happening, but we don't have enough money. And that's where we borrow. The debt is at 12 trillion shillings now. The first charge on the consolidated fund is debt to 70% of revenue. I mean, everything you look at is a resource issue, and the proper spend of these resources. Is there enough? So it doesn't really matter what administration you bring in. You could bring in Angel Gabriel himself, and you could hear that maybe there's not enough.
No. The first thing Angel Gabriel will do is to administer the sacrament when it comes. In this particular instance, for example, as a Safina, the first thing we are going to do is to suspend all debt payments. Yeah, we are saying it's illegal. The largest expenditure item of your revenue, your budget, is debt. So why should you continue with it if it is illegal? That is our thing. That's what we are saying. Illegal debt, we are not paying. Because this year alone, we are paying 2.3 trillion towards debt finance. The moment you spend 2.3 trillion shillings to pay illegal debt, what we are saying is illegal. Money that was taken in the name of Kenya, part of it is lying in people's private accounts. Why should Kenyan people pay for it? We will not pay it. Then, the next conversation now will be, okay, so what's the problem? The problem is that shift share is costed at 158 billion. That is what they've costed it to run universal healthcare here in Kenya. Take the 2.3 trillion, take 200 billion, apply it towards the universal healthcare. So no Kenyan will ever remove a coin to pay for his health services. You will need an ID, and you walk into a facility, you get it for free. You've been told it's costing 158 billion. So you will not pay the illegal debt. We have 2.3 trillion. Take 200 billion, put it in healthcare. So it becomes free for everybody. You're telling me about education. Costing of education, if you look at the numbers in terms of per capitation for every kid in primary school, every kid in secondary school, calculate those numbers, and even tertiary, we talk of TVET, it will cost you less than 300 billion. So you have saved 2.3 trillion. Remove 300 billion from that money that you not spend on legal debt. Education becomes free in the sense that you now use taxpayers' money, what could have gone towards debt finance, apply to the education. No parent will now remove a coin from his pocket to pay for education. No contribution from the parents. But if you don't deal with this problem, what the government is doing today is this. They keep shacking responsibilities back to the people. They are raiding your pocket every day. So they keep coming to you every day, increase your taxes, charges, and levies. And the government has a duty to pay for healthcare services using taxpayer money. They stop supporting healthcare. So you are forced to raise your own resources. Education, they failed to send capitation. So you are forced to increase school fees.
And is it because the resources are not there?
No, I've told you the resources are being misapplied. 70% of it is going to illegal debt.
And then we still have things like Nyota. There's a new thing now. Nyota. I don't know. It's 50,000 shillings to, I don't know.
But
and then there's
that is peanuts. That is what happens is this. That is peanuts, because the problem is the 70%. They are left with 30% to run their operations, pay their salaries, do development. They are not doing it. So they're focusing us on what, in this bigger scheme of things, will not impact anybody. So they keep you busy in Nyota. They keep you busy in Jukwaa la Usalama, which are nonsense conversations. But don't want to focus you on why the economy is not working. If we don't deal with the economic question, why it's not working for us, the rest, to me, is just a waste of time.
I hear you speak, Willis, in terms of Kenya. Our problem is expenditure. Collection is not a problem.
It's not a problem.
We have enough to
Yes.
run this country. And if we just deal with the corruption question in the country, we deal with address the debt problem in the country, then we are able to sort ourselves out and live easily.
Precisely.
But how then would you deal with what one would call expenditure in terms of salaries that people are paid in government? How would you address that?
You know, as it is now, my view is that people go into government because they want to earn money for themselves. As we believe in less government as Safina, it should be less government. What are the core functions of government? Defense, foreign relations, facilitate certain for social services, legislation, adjudication, judiciary. Yeah. Focus on only key roles of government. The rest, you don't need government. Let the private sector do it. Government just becomes a facilitator. So we believe in less government. In fact, if you ask me, for example, what should be the motivation for someone to become a member of parliament? It cannot be the salary of CDF. That's not your duty. We don't need CDF. Yeah, we don't need those bursaries that they're running. Because as Safina, we are saying education will be free. There is no contribution from the parent to pay for education. So when you are getting to become a member of parliament, don't think you're going to run some CDF kit your bursary fund. No. Those incentives that make people think they should aspire to these positions, you take them out. So you only become a member of parliament when you're about service, representation. Because in the ideal, the people should have been speaking themselves, voting for every issue like happens in Switzerland. But just because of our numbers, and we have yet to develop the infrastructures for everybody to appear, to participate, we send one of us. When you are chosen to be that one of us we send to represent, don't turn yourself into a profiteer. That now you want to profit from the message. No. Make it an attractive in terms of monetary incentives. Because it's about a service. Ni kujitolea.
So, Willis, how do we make, because you earlier said, okay, we have these legacy politicians, and it seems we keep making them relevant, and our conversations are just going round in circles about them, and the issue now is not economy anymore. How do we circle back to discussing these issues that you're raising, and who is the person leading this? Because at the moment, the people on offer are these ones that we've been talking about.
You see, Dennis, don't despair. At least you invited me here. You've given me a platform. You've given me a platform to share this, have this conversation. So just keep harping on, but the issue is the economy. Ask each of these political caucuses. Tell us what is your promise on the economy. And we question you. Tangible. Not fake promises. Tangible. Just like the other Dennis has asked me. How will you pay for this? How will you get? So, and I'm seeing the next guest also is a political. Ask him, okay, we've had the truth one time, we agree. Now tell us, what is the need for Kenyans? What is your promise on the economy? Ask all of these campaigns, we focus on the agenda. What is your economic agenda? That should be the discussion. Then once we are clear on what the agenda is, the personalities will come later. But legacy politicians will prefer you start with personalities. That Raila is here, Ruto is here,
so the focus is going towards setting an agenda,
yes,
and an economic one, a social one that is wrapped around the justice system, and the individuals who will come in to be agents of impact and change. It shouldn't matter who they are.
Exactly.
Because you're plugging into a system that is working and that is efficient.
Exactly.
So what we are saying essentially is that political parties, as they're set up, should actually live out what they were originally designed to be.
Exactly.
whereby they were ideological in nature, and it doesn't matter who it is, so long as they're
We
pushing
know what you are
that
getting.
ideological
Exactly.
agenda.
Like for us, Afina, we've come up with our feast agenda, the 5-point agenda. Call it the feast agenda. Not paying odious debt. We are not, no citizen is contributing towards education. Education becomes free from primary to tertiary. Healthcare services, the money saved from odious debt, applied to healthcare services. Do away with 16% VAT, make it 5% sales tax. Don't borrow from the domestic market. Release that money in the domestic market back to the people. Government not borrowing from the domestic market. That money should be available to the private sector, the individuals to be able to access it at low interest rates. So the private sector, the individual becomes the driver of economic
The
growth,
economy,
not government.
as it should.
Now, that is our feast agenda as Safina. I urge you, Dennis, ask, for example, there were two-termers. What is your agenda? Don't tell us about the individuals behind the two-term. Just tell us the agenda. Then we go to the one-termers. Tell us your agenda. United Opposition. Tell us your agenda. Then it becomes now a battle of agendas. Which is the best? And if we agree on this is the agenda, even if Willis is not there, so we know there's a Safina agenda. We know their commitment. The agenda will be implemented.
It will carry
if
the
they're
day.
in office.
Stuff to think about, definitely, and stuff to continue conversing about. It's a good way to start the week and get into a Monday morning with these thoughts top of mind. Wakili Willis Otieno, also the deputy party leader of Safina Party. Thank you for being here with us this morning. A lot, like I said, to think about and for us to continue to wrap our heads around. So thank you for just moving this conversation along with us this morning. Asante. More conversations continue. Good morning. 5 minutes past 8.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.